Microphone check 1 2, testing 1 2 3. Guys, this is part 3, so we're just gonna dive right back in. No pleasantries today. What's going on, Miss Dog Lover? Good to see you. Cyber Warrior, what's up? Thanks for my hat. Hey, you're welcome. Congratulations on winning. You deserve it. Thanks for being a hardcore member. I really do appreciate it. All of you. Christine, what's going on? Welcome back, Timmy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had something I had to take care of real quick. No biggie. No, I got some downtime. So we're going to pick up where we left off, which is about halfway through, give or take, 1/3 ways through Richard Allen's first interview.
There, and it was just because it was the only way to get to Trailhead
Let me know if you guys can hear that the audio.
From that side. And like I said, at one point they didn't want you parking down here at this farmer thing, so they put in a gravel path in, and you would park there. So you either parked over there or you parked there and walked down the gravel path. And the path cut over to like where the Trailhead thing is. Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know that we ever parked at that little building, whatever it was, until they laid that gravel path to it. I think we thought that was a new, I guess, designated parking area, and that's when we parked there once in a while. We'd still park over here once in a while. It just depended on which. And like I said, there was times when we parked there on and off.
Thanks, Garrett.
Whenever they didn't have it posted. They didn't want you parking there. And we probably did a time or two when they did have it posted, but we didn't make a habit of it.
So what, that car that was in your garage, would that have been what you drove out there that day?
Oh my God.
Legette's too anxious. You know, I really like Mullen's style. He's really sneaky. Tony, he's kind of like stumbles in there, like, oh, the car in the garage. Like, we'll get there, man. Be patient.
Let me think here. It would have either been that one.
What's up,
or
Kelly?
Our gray Ford 500. We kind of switch vehicles back and forth. It's kind of because I've oftentimes worked further away from home, and when I was working in Peru, the car's what do I say? It's a 16. So prior to that,
What's up, Mustang?
I'd had a little red Ford Focus, and our trucks we did our truck.
Oh, by the way, somebody just sent me a photograph, and this has to be like maybe an issue with the angle or let's see. I think they sent it to me through Messenger. So it looks like a photograph of Rick Snay kissing Kathy Allen. I mean, this has got to be fake. Yeah, this can't be real. It's definitely photoshopped. Frick Snay, if you're out there, looks like there's a photograph being passed around with you smooching on Kathy. Yeah, that's obviously photoshopped, right? It's a nice t-shirt. He's got style, I'll give him that. Welcome in, Bremer. You can hear down the hill and everything he says. That depends. We talk about that all the time. Brainstorm, green needle. What do you hear? If you're looking for it, you're going to hear it. And after they say, we've arrested Richard Allen, he's, our prime suspect, we have solid evidence against him. And then you hear the interview after he's found guilty by a jury of his peers, the bias is just beyond measure at that point, right? It's piled on. So once you have all that bias piled on, then you listen, not saying you're wrong, justly it's piled on. But that's what makes you think, hey, that's the guy. It's confirmation bias is what it is. You have more confidence in making that statement. Oh yeah, that's definitely him, right? And I did the same thing. That was my first impression. The word that came to mind was uncanny. What's up, Dark? Welcome back. Cyber Warrior, always good to see you. You got it, Bremer. Welcome in. Maybe it is fake. Who knows these days? I don't see the pick of snake. I'm not going to say the group. Looks like it's going around 3 groups right now. So the 3 that were sent to me were from 3 separate Delphi Facebook groups. I mean, if you ask me, obviously it's photoshopped, but it's kind of cropped. What if it's real? Man, what a scandal. Scandalous. Uncanny is fair. Yeah, I mean, it blew me away. Even when they announced the killer and he was wearing like that, what was it, Route 66? It was like an Arizona Route 66. I was like, that's him. Uncanny. I don't think it's real, Miss Dog Lover. I mean, he wouldn't do that, right? I just don't see him doing that. I mean, if it is edited, it's really good. It could be just a bad angle, like a kiss on a cheek, or maybe whispering something, and you pause it right when your lips are kind of making a kissy face. Nice back. Kelly O, super scandalous. Yeah, but I think I don't think it's real. I don't know what. There's something going on here. Some trickery. Some tomfoolery.
At like 4 o'clock in the morning. So on truck day, I'd be driving over to Peru at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And one day I was driving and I was tired. I mean, there's often times you'd be tired, but this day I was just so tired, like to the point I almost and should have just pulled over. But I made it over there. and I turned off, didn't take the highway all the way up. I took the turn off that takes you into the back way to Peru, and made it all the way in town, and literally I fell asleep. And I woke up when my airbag went off. I veered off the road and hit a SUV parked on the side of the road.
So I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I can't. I don't know. Let's see. Can't zoom in again. Oh, there we go. Maybe just like a bad ink. I'm thinking it's like somebody's maybe paused it on a video where he was talking and just they caught it right where he was like, he's got like duck lips, and then they spread it everywhere. I've seen that done before. Can't be real. I don't think it's real. I'm calling bullshit. That and they're trying to do like fuck with Rick Allen in prison or something. I don't know. You know, the trolling is I don't know, it's kind of gross. You guys out there need to take personal responsibility when you do weird shit. Like just chill. Just take a chill pill, bruh. CJK, good to see you. It's the Delphi case. Lots of that. Yeah, a lot of tomfoolery. I've seen a lot of that with Anthony Greeno. A lot of people were going after him. They were getting very creative. I don't think he's busted. I'm calling BS on that one. Definitely. It's probably part of a video. He maybe gave her a kiss on the cheek, like hang in there, or was whispering something to her like, hey, you hang in there. And right at the letter where your lips make that kissy face, they just paused it. Maybe, you know. Tony N, haha, OMG, sneeze after Kathy Allen. I don't think so. I think he was doing a live stream recently where he mentioned reaching out to her. And I think somebody created this photo on Photoshop or captured this image as a response to that. Don't believe everything you read in the tabloids, guys. Kelly, we saw it. Yeah, I guess it's making its rounds right now on Facebook. I'm calling bullshit on it. New low beyond the low, if true. Could be a social experiment. Don't be a statistic.
Literally, that's when I woke up. Like, I didn't even know. It took me several seconds, if not a minute, to get my bearings and even figure out what had happened. I still didn't know because when it hit the SUV, it threw it clear up over the sidewalk into somebody's front porch. Like, I literally didn't break at all. I was asleep.
I wonder what the truth is about this accident. I wonder you think he really fell asleep? Or do you think he left the bar all fucked up? He says at 3. Why would he be going to work at 3? That's what he said, right? Let me run that back.
I've oftentimes worked further away from home, and when I was working in Peru, The car's, what do I say, it's a 16. So prior to that,
What is he
I
doing?
had a little red Ford Focus, and our trucks were, we get our truck at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So on truck day, I'd be driving over to Pruitt at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And one day I was driving, I was tired. I mean, there's often times you'd be tired, but this day I was
What's he
just
doing
so
with his
tired, like
hands?
to the point I almost and should
Oh
have
my
just
gosh.
pulled over. But I made it over there, and I turned off, didn't take.
Christine Robbins, is the picture fake? This is the first time hearing it. I don't know. Somebody just sent it to me via email, and it was 3 different versions of it. Apparently, and all of them were Delphi Facebook groups, but it's kind of cropped. That's why I try to show it. So it's hard to examine it and say it's real. If it is real, scandalous. But if you ask me, I don't think it's real. I think this is in retaliation of him saying that he's talking to her. He said that recently on a live stream. Excuse me, guys. I feel like I got like a burp stuck right here in my chest. But I just don't think it's real. You know, people, they just don't. That's why I titled this live stream Abby and Libby. What they do is they create a big pile of shit, right? They stack it up to the ceiling. And then they do live streams about the pile of shit that they created. You know, and nobody's talking about what the fuck happened to Abby and Libby. Let's create this whole fucking drama shit storm, and then we can cover it. You know, problem solution. But it has nothing to do with what happened in Delphi. Because if you're supporting Richard Allen, that's just fucking gross. Because at the very least, he's got to be the prime suspect, right? I mean, we're watching all of this, right? You have eyes. Use them. At the very least, he's the prime suspect.
The highway all the way up. I took the turnoff that takes you into the back way to Peru, and made it all the way in town, and literally I fell asleep, and I woke up when my airbag went off. I veered off the road and hit a SUV parked on the side of the road, and literally that's when I woke up. Like, I didn't even know on and off whenever they didn't have it posted. They didn't want you parking there, and we probably did a time or two when they did have it posted, but we didn't make a habit of it.
So what, that car that was in your garage, would that have been what you drove out there that day?
Oh my God.
My gird.
Let me think here. It would have either been that one or our great Ford 500. We kind of switched vehicles back and
What's up,
forth.
Frank?
Because I've oftentimes worked further away from home, and when I was working in Peru, the car's, what do I say, it's a 16. So prior to that, I'd had a little red Ford Focus, and our trucks were, we get our truck at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So on truck day, I'd be driving over to Pruitt at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Bullshit. You're not doing truck day at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. No. Maybe 5, maybe 4, maybe 5. No way. Nobody in their right mind is doing a truck at 3 a.m.
And
He's leaving the bar or something, doing something shady.
one day I was driving, I was tired. I mean, there's often times you'd be tired, but this day I was just so tired, like to the point I almost and should have just pulled over.
Maybe it was a suicide attempt. What do you guys think about that? Because he literally said that he hit a parked car and threw it like into a house. Like he didn't even see the vehicle. It was so far away. Maybe he was just going right for it.
But I made it over there, and I turned off, didn't take the highway all the way up. I took the turnoff that takes you into the back way to Peru, and made it all the way in town, and literally I fell asleep. And I woke up.
That's true, Kelly.
When my airbag went off, I veered off the road and hit a SUV parked on the side of the road. And literally that's when I woke up. Like, I didn't even know. It took me several seconds, if not a minute.
There's a story behind this. I would like to know what it is. You know, some of his closest friends know what really happened. But I think you might be right, Tony. Drunk driving, maybe? Yeah, Tony. He doesn't even have an alibi. Not once have I seen him look into a camera, turn around and say, I'm innocent. He hasn't written any letters. He hasn't reached out to any media. Nothing. CJK, I wonder if law enforcement verified the time they started receiving trucks. I seriously doubt it.
To get my bearings and even figure out what had happened. I still didn't know because when it hit the SUV, it threw it clear up over the sidewalk into somebody's front porch. I literally didn't brake at all. I was asleep, so I hit it full speed. So anyway, I get out and there's not even anything there. I'm like, what did I hit? And there was a person stopped on the other side of the road. Anyway, long story short, they called the police, blah, 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 and I had to get, that's when I bought that black car.
Mm-hmm. The black car being the 16?
Yeah.
What's with the word salad and why is he moving things around on the table? Do you see that?
Not even anything there. I'm like, what did I hit? And there was a person stopped on the other side of the road. Anyway, long story short, they called the police, blah, 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 and I had to get, that's when I bought that black car.
Mm-hmm. The black car
the
being
fuck?
the 16?
The one in the garage.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And so I got that car because I have to drive back and forth and want something that gets good gas mileage. So my point is I was driving the black car and then...
Okay, so he drives the black car to get good gas mileage when he drives to Peru. He just said it. Can't argue it. He said it. He drives the black car when he goes to work in Peru to save money on gas. So that's why he took the black car when he went to go see his mother in Mexico. Or Peru. I'm not exactly sure which mother he went to visit.
When I transferred and came back to Delphi, I didn't need the gas mileage anymore, and it was a nicer car, so I gave it to my wife. And from that time until just earlier this year.
I bet you Kathy Allen has a different account of what he's referring to right here. About him saying, oh, it's a nicer car. I wanted to, I'll give it to her. No, she probably has like, you never gave me your car. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wonder what her side of it is.
Here, I drove the gray car and she drove the black car. Now, if I was going somewhere out of town, a lot of times I would use
Peru.
the black car, depending on how far we're going. The gray car was dependable.
And he did go out of town. Like the reason he goes on word salads is when he's realized what he's done. So let me run this back. He's realized what he said, and then he tries to take his foot out of his mouth.
The gas mileage anymore, and it was a nicer car, so I gave it to my wife. And from that time until earlier this year, I drove the gray car and she drove the black car. Now, if I was going somewhere out of town, a lot of times I would use the black car.
Okay, right here, he's like, oh shit, why did I say that? He's like, I'm getting too cozy. And then he doesn't allow them to respond to that.
Depending on how far we're going. The gray car was dependable.
Right there, you hear
but
that?
It's just one of those where...
He even yelled. He even yelled at him. Watch. He's like, I realize what I've done. Now I have to kind of redirect.
Now, if I was going somewhere out of town, a lot of times I would use the black car, depending on how far we're going. The gray car was dependable, but it's just one of those where the longer, I guess, more recently,
Time for
I
a word
started driving,
salad.
if I was going to go to Lafayette or something for an appointment or whatever, I take the black car just because it's more dependable. And
Yeah, she works at her.
But anyway,
Yeah.
and then when,
Hear it?
from during that time period, I drove the gray Ford 500, and she would drive the black car.
So he wants it to be an afterthought. He's like, if I just pile a bunch of bullshit, in front of it, they'll forget that I said that. But he realized the reason he's acting the way he is he realizes what he said. He's like, oh shit, that means that they know I was in Peru, and I'm telling them that I drive the black car when I go to Peru to save money on gas. He's like, oh shit, that puts me in the black car. The black car is what I was driving the day of the murders and parked at the CPS building. So now I'm helping them. Realizing that, he yells over them when they try to respond to that fact that, hey, that gotcha moment. He yells over, like, I'm not done talking. And then he word salad, blah, 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 blah. Even Tony Leggett tries to step in. He yells at him. And then he kind of even stops, starts saying, what do I say? And then here comes another word salad.
Had her old cat license plate and all that on it. And then when I got her van, the gray car pretty much had it. And it was either, I had that in a truck as well. I had a truck for, I don't know, 3-4 years. I bought it used, and we didn't drive it hardly ever. And
what?
It was one of those where get rid of them while they're still worth something, so we traded them both in. And I got
Who the fuck cares?
And then I went back to driving black car. So
everybody's like, if I remember right, you said you were gone to Miami County to see Mexico. Would you have planned to drive the black car because that was a trip out of town?
Mexico, he
I
said.
wouldn't have planned. No, during that time it was still the gray car was still. It was a junk car. We bought it brand new. It was a 2000.
His mother lives 11 miles from the Klein home at the time. Just FYI. Jared Parker says supporting Richard Allen is not gross. That's like your opinion, man.
But I just say in the last 3-4 years, it's not the car didn't run well. It's just one of those where it's old enough that you don't want to get over somewhere. Because usually if I am driving it, it's because she's at work and I don't want to end up having to get stranded somewhere. But that was more recently, so that's why I don't know which. It was either the gray or the black one that day.
The gray or the black one that day.
The gray one.
Okay.
He's like, fucking that car.
Then you get on the trails and you say you saw 3 girls. Where was it you saw the 3 girls?
They were up around the trail. I mean, I didn't like to interact with them.
He just wants them to stop talking about that car. Watch, he starts rubbing his head.
He drives now, and then I went back to driving black car. So
If I remember right, you said you were gone to Miami County to see Mexico. Would you have planned to drive the black car because that was a trip out of town?
I wouldn't have planned. No, during that time it was still the gray car was still. It's not like it was a junk car. We bought it brand new. It was a 2006. But I just say in the last 3-4 years, it's not the car didn't run much. It's just one of those where it's old enough that you don't want to get over somewhere. Because usually if I am driving it, it's because she's at work and I don't want to end up having to get stranded somewhere. But that was more recently, so that's why I don't know which. It was either the gray or the black one that day. Either one could have been. Because then the black one could have been the gray one.
Okay.
It was an 06 Ford 500.
So then you get on the trails and you say you saw 3 girls. Where was it you saw the 3 girls?
They were up around the trail. I mean, I didn't like to interact with them.
All right, let's see. He's talking about the 3 girls. Well, let's pull this up. I think this is a photo that Bree took. 1:26 p.m. So you guys, it's not a coincidence, you know what I mean? It's not a coincidence that Richard Allen is saying that he saw these girls. Well, he's describing these girls. Right? 1:26. They take a photograph. About a minute later, Richard Allen is driving on the road just over this hill right here, right behind their right shoulders. Richard Allen is driving down that street 1 minute after this photograph is taken. Parks at the CPS building. They begin to walk home and they pass him. What is there to discuss? That's it. Case closed. It looked like one of them was babysitting. That's exactly what was happening. long black hair. One was taller than the other. What did the girl see? A fucking creepy dude. Up to no good. So Richard Allen saw them, and they saw him. Name that movie. Here, I think I have more. Let's see. Let's go to Bree Wilbur's photos. Those are time stamped as well. So it was Abby's first time crossing the bridge, and it may have been Bree's first time crossing the bridge. Like, I did it, proof, I have witnesses. Or the other friends that were babysitting, they're not going to cross that bridge, especially not with the young girl with them. So maybe they were kind of hanging out somewhere else, and she's kind of posting this to say, hey, I'm back. Like, hey, come back to the bridge, wherever you are. But I doubt that, because she could have just called, right? Or texted. To me, this is just telling everybody in Snapchat world, I did it. The rite of passage, the ritual that even Richard Allen mentions. Updated at 12:43. This one almost looks like Abby. This one was uploaded at 1:26. So the photo that looks like Abby almost seemingly appears to trigger Richard Allen to go into motion. So if this whole Keegan Kline confession and his account of things is true, that him and his father went to the cemetery, his father went out and helped a friend commit these murders, came back and said, we just had fun. So if that's true, that would explain why Richard Allen is coming from the direction that he is while being captured on the Hoosier Harvest Store video. He's coming from the direction of the cemetery. There's no reason for that. And he tries to backtrack that. It's almost as if he doesn't want them to know he came from the cemetery. They asked him during this interview earlier, if you missed it, like, which other ways would you come to the trails? Which route would you take? And he's like, oh, I would always take this route. Then here comes whenever he's lying, you get a word salad, because he's trying to play like a Jedi mind trick on him, trying to confuse him, give him lots of information, and then end on something completely different. Like when they gave him all the information about the car and they were asking him questions about the black car, he ended his word salad on Chrysler 600. He's like, oh, it could have been the black or the older car. But he made sure to end with Chrysler 600. He's trying to get as far away from the black car as he can. And while doing that, he's showing his guilt. In my opinion.
Somewhere.
So but you hope for
Like when I say they were leaving, yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming they were leaving, or they came from down where those cars parked and they were going to go back that way. I don't know.
Okay. And then, did you see anybody else when you were out there? Anybody that stand there?
Nobody that stood out, I guess. Okay. I mean, if I did see somebody, it didn't click with me. And of course, my memory was a lot better when I talked to him that day. I don't remember seeing, like I told him,
Okay, so if his memory is better, and he's saying, yeah, I met with Dan Doolin, it's not a conspiracy, he's admitting to it, yeah. I remember he even explains where he met with him at the Save-A-Lot. So there's no conspiracy here, and he just said it, that his memory was much better at that time. Well, at that time is when he said he was there from 1:30 to 3, I believe is what he said, 1:30 to 3:30.
there may have been somebody on the bridge or something when I was coming back through, but I didn't. The only ones that I really noticed seeing were the three girls.
Okay.
Because I was walking towards them.
Wait, what three girls? Which three girls could that be? It's not some kind of mystery. It's these girls right here. The one taking the photo, and the two in it. I think there's even a fourth. Oh, thank you, Miss Dog Lover. I appreciate that. Thanks, Neil. Okay, so you guys, this isn't like fucking calculus or something. 126, this guy, or these girls take this photograph, right? 126. We have this evidence, and then we have Bree's photo when she uploaded it to Snapchat. 126, right on the dot. A minute and 30 seconds later, you have Richard Allen driving on this road right over this hill. A minute and 30 seconds later, he parks and he's walking with purpose through the trails, almost as if he's looking to cut the girls off. Right? They just uploaded a photograph to Snapchat that looks like Abby. Like, why would Bree be taking a photo of herself if she's the one uploading it? It may have confused the killer, and the face was covered, right? And everybody even made weird conspiracy videos about how much Bree and Abby look alike. The thing is, most of the times these folks get it half right, kind of like criminals. They're only telling half the truth.
And I mean, they obviously stood out.
Thanks, Miss
Like I said,
Dogwood.
I remember it looked like an older girl with two younger girls.
Okay.
Just walking the trail.
Look like an older girl and two younger girls. One of the girls is much taller than her sister and Bree.
Okay.
And I guess I just assumed that she was probably watching them or in charge of them or whatever. It was
And if
kind of
you
what it
saw-
felt like.
Okay. If you thought you saw
Okay, and the witnesses who came across the bridge guy, quote unquote, they had trouble describing him. That's natural. That's normal. That's the way the human mind works when you're not trying to remember. There's no reason to. You're just going about your business. But Richard Allen had an agenda that day, and he will never forget that day. He remembers every bit. He remembers what he did when he woke up that day. It's ingrained in his memory. He remembers everything, in my opinion.
I saw somebody when you were coming back through from the bridge where they were on the bridge.
I don't really remember seeing anybody that day, but I don't know. So if I did see somebody else, I didn't jump out to me or anything else. I don't. Like I said, it could have been people down around the cars, but I don't remember. I just remember seeing a couple cars parked over there. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Dan and.
Okay, when you play poker, this is what you would refer to as like a twitch, like a bluffer's twitch. So notice when he touches like this, or when he touches a little, he kind of keeps sliding whatever that is, or maybe a paper clip on the table. He keeps touching it.
Or something when I was coming back through, but I didn't. The only ones that I really noticed seeing were the three girls.
Okay.
Because I was walking towards them, and I mean, they obviously stood out. And like I said, I remember it looked like an older girl with two younger girls.
Okay.
Just walking the trail.
Okay.
And I guess I just assumed that she was probably watching them or in charge of them or whatever. It was
And if
kind of
you
what it
thought-
felt like.
Okay. If you thought you saw somebody when you were
Watch
coming
it.
back through from the bridge where they were on the bridge.
I don't really remember seeing anybody that day, but I don't know. So if I did see somebody else, I didn't jump out to me or anything else. I don't. Like I said, it could have been people down around the cars, but I don't remember. I just remember seeing a couple cars parked over there. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Dan and SUV or something like that.
Okay.
Ooh, did he just say van? I didn't hear him say that before.
See somebody else, I didn't jump out to me or anything else. I don't. like I said, could have been people down around the cars, but I don't remember. I just remember seeing a couple cars parked over there. Like a sedan and SUV.
Oh,
or something
sedan.
like that.
Sorry,
And then when you
he said sedan.
got back to your
You guys, I'm going to take a quick restroom break. You guys continue on watching. I'll be right back.
car, was there any other cars when you got back to your car?
I don't think so. Well, no, because I would have thought through that now.
Okay.
Would have just been mine.
Do you know where you went afterwards, when you left there?
Well, that day. I always watched the stock market and
You know,
trade the stocks a little
that was
bit.
something else that they remember the officer recorded, something about the stock market. So tell us about that.
I just had a individual trading account
Mhm.
with Daytech originally, and I think it was TD America, TD Ameritrade. I trade stocks, try to get rich, lose money.
Did that work for you?
On and off it did actually, but no, it worked really terribly there for a while, and I don't even do it anymore. So
Okay.
it's just too much of a risk.
So did you have a phone or a watch or something you were looking at the stock market on, or?
I think so. I had a program on my phone to watch stocks. I don't remember exactly
So you would keep a track
when
of
and
it.
how long I had it, but yeah, I had a program that I could, depending on the reception you had, of course. If you didn't have any reception, it wouldn't work.
Was it fairly good out there that day?
And that's honestly, I think that's why I went home as quick as I did, because I wanted to get home and watch it on my computer with my stock tickers and all that stuff. So, because I remember what I remember doing that. That was like a hobby, I guess, for me, was watching the stock market and looking at charts and trying to predict what something's going to do and make money off of it.
Yeah, that's way out of my league.
Well, it was mine too. I just didn't realize it at the time.
What were you wearing that day? I mean, you said you put on a jacket. You put on a jacket, and
Blue jeans, and I'm sure I put on a jacket because I think it was still fairly cool that day. I don't think it was super warm. I would have put on a jacket. I don't know.
Remember what kind of jacket
Probably
you had back
jeans.
then? I mean,
I've had Carhartt jackets over the years.
color is your jacket.
The one was blue. The one
What color was your jacket?
was black. Probably back then it would have been a black one. Had a hood
What's
built
up?
into it.
Obviously me.
So it was just a black zip up. I don't even think it was a Carhartt.
Welcome back,
I think
Brandon.
It was an off-brand, but it was like a Carhartt. I could have worn that. I've had
See, that's the jacket that Kathy was holding in interview number 2. And I always thought that jacket looked more like the jacket that the bridge guy was wearing.
sweatshirts like what I threw on.
But it could have been a
today.
Carhartt.
Hoodies, jackets. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything. Fleece.
Anything else you maybe headgear or anything like that? Wasn't that warm day, but wasn't that cold either.
Always kept a hat in my coat, so it would have been like a, I don't know what you call them, skull cap, or just not a big fluffy hat, but a small hat.
So, So cap on your head, and anything else you've been wearing besides?
So this was some editing that, well, not editing. I was just kind of working with the contrast, the lighting, and all of that. And something kind of popped out right here. So let's take a look at the exhibit. What is this? Exhibit 262. What's interesting about this is you kind of see this crease going right through here. You see it? So you have the Carhartt logo, and then right from the Carhartt logo, you have a crease that goes directly into the hood. You can kind of see that in this image. You see that Carhartt logo, and then smack dab in the middle, it's going over here to the hood. Can you guys see that or no? Dark. Let's go to dark side. A hobby to make money. I don't believe he was watching stocks. If so, what did he invest in? Well, criminals they tell half truths. So what he's telling us is that he was doing something that had to do with money, or there's a stressor about money involved. Because in the same breath, he says, "Well, I didn't do very well at it. I actually lost money." Somewhere in Canada. What's up? If he said he wore a black jacket, then he probably wore blue. I don't know. He has this weird thing like he's not trying to hide. Like he's dealing with. There's few important people in his life, right? He has the story that he told his wife and the story that he's trying to tell the cops. And this kind of proves to me that Kathy didn't have any knowledge about this, because he's doing his best to keep her at bay and to keep her in the dark. But he has one version, one story for her. He has all these different stories for different people. He probably has a third story for his group of friends or people that he plays pool with. Like, hey, I heard you were there at the trails. You the bridge guy? And he's like, and then Kathy laughs, ha 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 ha. He never went on the bridge, and also he already talked to law enforcement. And then he had one of his friends go on Facebook after a huge report on wanting to speak to the bridge guy, and they said, well, this guy's been cleared. And this person ended up being a Facebook friend of Kathy Allen. Because he knew that Richard Allen was there. It's very a complex web that he has. Is it wove or weaving? Woven. Managers got to buy Walmart stock at a discount or on a payroll deduction. Yeah, that's true. I know Walmart did it. Walgreens did it when I worked there. I made a lot of money with the what they call it, profit sharing. Yeah, I think I made like 10 grand off of that when it was all said and done. Erie, he's bridge guy, and that voice still gives me the chills. Libby and Abby were terrified. Absolutely, they were. All right, let's get back at it.
It's like what kind of shoes.
Oops, hold on, guys. I'm getting like this weird audio thing that sometimes happens, so bear with me. We're going to kill the cam. We're going to stop sharing. Let me write this down real quick. 45 seconds, or 45 minutes, 28 seconds. All right, don't go anywhere. Let's close that down. think I just have too many windows open. All right, can you guys hear me, see me?
I don't know if I gave you one of my friends. There it is. I had to give him. I think
You did. I probably stepped down. Oh, it's right there.
What's up, Brian?
So cap on your head, and anything else you've been wearing besides like what kind of shoes? I don't know, that pretty
Coach.
strange to ask a question like that. But what was, the design might probably tell you what kind of tennis shoes I had because I usually make them last a very long time.
Well, and I've got shoes that I've had for 10, 12 years probably. It would
Yeah, that's a good point, Dark Side, about the 401k. You can opt out, but typically they'll go ahead and pick 10, that are decent and that they, basically they know are foolproof or at least low risk. But you can opt out of that and pick your own in most cases. And I don't watch that because, it's more of a long-term thing and the market is just so up and down. So I don't know if that's what he might have been looking at was a 401k, but it sounds like he was doing something different.
have been over tennis shoes or I had military boots that I used to wear, but they just don't fit. I've been out of the military forever, so I had some combat boots in my closet that I used to wear occasionally. I don't know if I was still wearing them then or not. I mean, I haven't worn them in years, but could have a pair of work boots. I don't know. So probably over tennis shoes, but if it was wet out, sometimes I wear a boot, like a work boot.
Yeah, it kind of does, Brian.
But like I said, the combat boots, because they held water out pretty well.
Okay, great.
And I may have told him that day what I was wearing.
What's up, Karen?
Do you know what kind of phone you had back then? And you just got that phone, do you?
I did.
Okay, let's test our theory because I don't remember if he gives him a word salad here or not. But if he's going to tell a lie, let's see if it. Because right before this, he's just giving him short answers. Yes, no, I'm not too sure. It might have been this. And they, it's a quid pro quo. They're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So let's see. They're asking him about the phone. We're assuming that he's gotten rid of it. It's long gone. He's not worried about it. So let's test our theory. Can we expect a word salad?
If I do, it's in the closet somewhere. I'm sure to recycled it by now.
Oh, really?
Because I've had this for. My other one die.
He's distracting, slowing everything down. Mullins is like, I can do that. Let's all pull out our phones. I'll tag
Don't
you.
worry, I just want to look at
He's like, delete, factory reset.
several years, not.
All he asked him was what phone you had. I guess this counts, right?
It wasn't. I know that since that time, I know
Word
I've
salad incoming.
I don't remember when. It's not been a super long time, but it wasn't. I've had it long enough that I don't remember when I got it.
See if he scratches his head.
Do you have that picture of that car or no?
I don't think I did.
See, impatient Tony. Good cop, bad cop.
picture of the car on the,
Ooh, he doesn't want to talk about that car. That's the last thing he wants to talk about. Look at his weird posture right here.
road.
He's very interested in those photos.
Automatically. Either way. So, a couple things I wanted to ask you after I checked my phone, it's just like ringing like crazy.
I wonder if he told somebody to get rid of the phone. That'd be crazy.
What we would like to do is to be able to confirm some of the information that you've given us so far, to be able to examine your
Yeah, he
phone.
does this.
As you're well aware, phones go everywhere with everybody, and they tell
Little
a
old
story
Rick.
about a lot of what people do. And sometimes the information on a phone can confirm, or maybe not necessarily.
What you got over there?
Information about what somebody is saying. We have the ability to be able to extract the data from a phone and be able to look at it and be able to tell where somebody was at.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Would that be something you would?
See, I know that. You see that? I know that. Think I'm stupid? I know that. Why do you think I got rid of the phone? Because I know that.
A lot of what people do, and sometimes the information on a phone can confirm, or maybe not necessarily confirm information about what somebody is saying. We have the ability to be able to extract the data from a phone and be able to look at it and be able to tell where somebody was at.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Would that be something you would allow us to take care of, do today, and get it done?
How long are you going to have my phone?
Well, we ideally would like to have a phone that you had. But when you got that phone, did you take the data from the old phone and move it to the
I
new
have
phone?
no idea. I mean, I know.
The truth is, that's kind of proof that he didn't have his phone recycled. Remember, that was his story. Oh, my wife probably recycled it. No, because typically when you do recycle it, you do get it transferred over. There's no reason for you not to transfer your information over to your new phone. So that's almost evidence in itself that they got rid of the phone.
I always try to save contacts.
Right.
So
if you had the phone, like where'd you get the phone at? What service is it?
I go through Ting. It's an online service, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's really inexpensive, and
a lot of people don't know about it. What did he call it?
Okay. Would that be something you would allow us to take care of, do today, and get it done?
how long are you going to have my phone?
Well, we ideally would like to have a phone that you had. But when you got that phone, did you take the data from the old phone and move it to the
I
new
have
phone?
no idea. I mean, I know. I always try to save contacts.
Right.
So
if you had the phone, like where'd you
I
get
always
the phone
try to
at?
save contacts.
What
Who
service
doesn't?
is it?
I go through Ting. It's an online service.
Ting.
And a lot of people don't know about.
So a lot of people don't know about it. Like he's hip on it, kind of like the dark web. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just checking on something. Wanted to see if there were any reports relating to Ting, but I can check on that later.
It's really inexpensive, and I've had it for years now.
What's it called?
Huh?
What was it called?
Ting.
Ting, like T-I-N-G.
T-I-N-G.
Never heard of it.
It's online.
So you didn't really go to it.
So maybe Ting is like some fly-by-night company. I don't know a whole lot about it, but maybe they don't really monitor their service. Maybe, I don't know.
a store somewhere.
I used to,
Okay.
but for years now, we've been with Ting. You basically, you pay full price for your phone.
So if you had the phone, like, where'd you get the phone at? What service is it?
I go through Ting.
Okay.
It's an online service, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's really inexpensive, and I've had it for years now.
What's it called?
Yeah, maybe it's hard to trace.
Huh?
What was it called?
Ting,
Ting, like T-I-N-G?
T-I-N-G.
Never heard of it.
It's online.
So you didn't really go to a store somewhere?
I used to,
Okay.
but
Yeah, he said I used to, but after I killed these two teenagers in my town, in this town here, I had to kind of switch some things up.
For years now, we've been with Ting. You basically, you pay full price for your phone, and they have discounted ones, and so usually you'll pay a couple
Thanks.
$100 for a phone, or you can pay $600-700, whichever. But
So they own
as
it.
far as the service,
Jay, right?
Right.
I mean, I only pay around $40 a month for 2 phones, and that's
And is
pretty much everything.
your service provider, is that Ting themselves, or is it another?
They, like, I think right now it's probably Verizon. It's one of those deals they use. Of course, all of them do that anymore. They use each other's
The big
towers.
corporate towers and, yeah.
But I think it's like my phone.
Are you hearing him? He's kind of, the devil's in the details. He's kind of letting you know that he has knowledge of cell towers and how that all works, and the fact that people can trace and find digital forensics on your devices. So he's kind of letting you know that he's no fool when it comes to that.
Some of it depends on what type of phone you have too. Mine is based off of, I'm pretty sure it's off of Verizon right now.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Do you remember what you had back then? 2017?
Good question. Good body language too, Mullen.
I know I didn't have this.
Take
one
notes,
yet.
Tony.
I don't even know if they were making notes yet.
I mean, as far as service provider?
Well, I've had Ting. God, I've had Ting for several years now.
So they
I
may,
probably would have had Ting.
okay,
Yeah.
they may have changed service providers on you. Ting may have used a different service provider.
I don't like, since I've had this phone, I've never had them come out and say, hey, we're changing your provider. It's just I guess kind of the home system that it works off of. Like I said, it's Verizon. I'm trying to think if it's ever been, you don't even hear about AT&T anymore, but it could have been that at one point.
What's up, Boston?
Okay.
I never had it before we lived in Delphi though, so I know.
Good night, Miss Dog
Yeah,
Lover.
because I always got my phone. I work at Walmart, so I get my service plans through them. Because
Thank you, CJK. Good to see you.
So I know it's been since I left Walmart, so.
Okay.
I mean, so I went through regular carriers prior, but I've been with Ting forever.
Well, so then what I would like to do, if it's okay with you, would be to have an opportunity to look at the phone and examine some of the data on it. Really would like to get to the phone that you had back then, if you think it's an
He's thinking right now, I'm not worried about, them finding anything tying me to the murders. He's thinking about the Hard Candy movie and all of that stuff.
closet
I
somewhere in
don't
the
know.
house. Yeah.
Actually, I don't have, I mean, when my wife comes home, she'll know. If we have it, she'll know exactly where it's at.
Okay, all right. So if it's okay
I
with you,
thought she recycled them, but she may not.
we could start with this phone and be able to extract the data from that, if that's okay with you. And I have a form that I read, folks.
And why would you say no?
Something like that. And it goes basically like this: you have the right to require that a search warrant be obtained.
I don't think anybody's ever told them no to that. There was even this guy named James Lucas who was interviewed by a local media group, and they took his phone. He gave it over willingly, like quickly, and he was okay to tell media, talk about it. I looked up his Facebook page, and it is bad. It is bad. Like all he has no like regular, maybe like a handful of regular friends, and the rest are like all prostitutes and like women who are half naked and some actually naked. And I'm talking like thousands, like maybe like 2,500 different prostitutes or girls exposing themselves on Facebook. That was his whole friend group. And he wasn't even ashamed to show it. He's like, yeah, this is disgusting, but it ain't got nothing to do with the murders. Complete opposite here with Richard Allen.
Before you search your property, has the right to refuse consent to a warrantless search, has the right to talk to a lawyer before giving consent to such a search. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one would be appointed for you. I've read the statement rights, I understand what rights are. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I consent to a warrantless search by the officers of the police department following described property, and it'll be your cell phone and a motor carrier, and authorize these officers to seize any item of data.
I mean, the thing is like, all he had to say was, I'm not willing to talk with you. He doesn't even need to say I need a lawyer. Just like, hey, I'm not willing to cooperate with you.
Which they consider as evidence. I understand and know what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me.
Because what they're doing is they're creating evidence. The longer this interview goes, the more evidence they have, right? They're asking him, hey, you ever go out there? How often do you go out to the trails? Do you target practice out there? You know, they're going through all of the excuses that one might come up with why law enforcement might find an unspent bullet, you know, or a cartridge down at a murder scene. They gave him every opportunity. But by doing that, they're creating evidence that's going to be presented in court. Everything you say can and will be used against you.
And I would need to have the passcode. Is your phone open, or is it as a passcode, or is it a pattern, face, or what?
There's a finger thing, and then there's a code override.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. J. Ray says, well, anyone would want to cooperate to a certain point, right? No, I just gave you an example of the James Lucas, right? To a certain point, you don't want to be embarrassed. But for him, he's like, I'll be embarrassed for Abby and Libby. You know, I don't want to be a suspect. Here, embarrass me. Like, I guarantee he was embarrassed for them to see that on his phone. 100%. But he didn't care because he knew they weren't going to go broadcast it. They were going to eliminate him as a suspect. Richard Allen, on the contrary.
Yes,
Go ahead. Any questions? Yeah, we'll try to answer.
Just, I don't know, it's sounding more like you're like, I'm not going to be somebody's fall guy.
Here's an
Maximum Evil says, how can he remember tower stuff but not losing a bullet? We don't know the story. We don't know how he lost that bullet. We don't know what happened. You know, we assume that he racked it to intimidate the girls, but we don't know. I have a hunch that a second person took that gun from him during an altercation, cleared it, and gave it back to him. And during the altercation, both of them lost sight of what was going on. One high as a kite off adrenaline, what he did to Libby. The other, probably in shock, being Richard Allen, who was most likely the one holding Libby when another perpetrator attacked her, and then was probably forced afterwards to commit murder. B killed himself.
We were talking, I thought you were trying to find what I might have that'd be helpful, but that's absolutely what we're doing.
Everyone we talk to, we're trying to eliminate them from any suspicion of being involved in this case.
Sure.
So
I get that.
What we want to try to do is get as much information together to be able to show, okay, we've looked, and then
He's gulping and everything. Like, he's really nervous, huh? He can't be that nervous over hard candy. He's nervous at what he might have overlooked. What have I overlooked? What have I underestimated? Is it possible that they can go down some kind of weird rabbit hole that can track back to some of that old information? There's no way he's this standoffish over hard candy. Which is a sick movie, but
you understand what I'm saying?
Sure, I get that. I just, like I said, honestly, it amazes me that we're even talking. I mean, it's been so long, and I haven't thought about this much, and it's just like, I don't want to be somebody's fall guy, and we're going to try to make.
Yeah, I've considered that, Maximum Evil. I think I saw a lot of videos about the P226 and its tendency to jam when muddy. So if we got a guy who appears muddy and bloody. Well, what if you got mud in the gun? We have a creek right there. So it's possible it got wet and muddy. And maybe it did jam. Maybe he did plan to use that weapon. You know, maybe he did plan to shoot them.
Make pieces of a puzzle fit somewhere they don't fit so we can close this thing, I guess. And I'm not saying you guys, please don't think I'm questioning your integrity. That's not what I'm saying. I just, okay. I mean, I guess that's where I'm at. It doesn't seem like a simple
See, he's practiced this over and over and over, right? Remember the metaphor, the boxing metaphor. You know, you train for the fight. Train for 6 to 3 weeks. You know, you're ready for the fight. You know, nothing can stop you. You're in the back room. You're in the gym. You're in the back locker room. You know, they got the boxing ring on the big screen back there, and they're calling your name. Your music comes on, and then you step out there, and you're under the bright lights, and everything falls apart. Your nerves kick in. You know, you get stage fright. So he's been planning for this fight right here for 6.5 years. But under those bright lights, right here during this very moment, he gives himself away by jumping the gun. He's been so good at hiding his, probably, I think it's psychopathy, but what do I know? In my opinion, he's been hiding his psychopathy. And this is just him jumping the gun. Simple and plain, or plain and simple.
conversation we're having. It seems more like you think I might have done it, so.
I understand what you're saying. I completely get what you're...
Now, remember, everybody that they interviewed that was tipped in gave their phone over. Here you go. Even James Lucas, the disgusting Facebook guy.
what you're saying and how I would feel from your point of view, okay?
Yeah.
But from our situation, what we're trying to do is be able to show what all you were doing that day. Take a look at it.
Darkside said all guns jam in mud, though. I guess all guns could, right? I wouldn't say that, if you get it muddy, it's going to jam, but I think all could, yeah. If it gets in the they all have a mechanism, get inside that mechanism, yeah.
Everything, make sure that we can show that what you're saying is true, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can be able to say to someone else, whoever's prosecuting this case, look,
Nice
we
pebble.
looked at Mr. Allen, and he's not our guy. And we looked at him because we looked at his phone. I was going to ask you something else.
Let's go to Goat Dog. What up? Good to see you, Goat Dog. There's no way that he was with someone else. He killed Libby, probably puked, and then told Abby to get dressed in her clothing, then mercifully killed Abby. Libby was a stand-in for his wife. Interesting.
To be able to look at your car and also
One or the other.
We'd like to look
Could
at
be.
your house.
The crime scene kind of represents that. We talked about that yesterday, the presence of what seems to be passion for whatever reason, or it could be misinterpreted rage. But yeah, if we're going with your theory, if he was kind of seeing her as symbolizing his wife, it could have been like a crime of passion. So I see what you're saying.
And so all these things are very, very important to us to be able to...
No, I get that. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to... I mean, if you get to a point where you think that I need further investigating and you want to get a warrant and do it, that's fine. But I'm not going to have somebody going through my house and everything.
Sure. I just want to be honest with you.
I just don't... I guess I'm starting to feel more like you're...
So this is the boxer losing his nerve just before the big fight, or in the first round.
Reigning lead or something here, and I'm not going to do that.
We just started, did you understand that because we are so far into this, that I'm sure you see the news, you see state police doing their thing, well,
It's been a great while, yeah.
we at Carroll County Sheriff's Department, and he's an investigator with prosecutor's office.
Yeah, this is already going way too long for him. He's lost his nerve. His posture's changed. He's no longer casual. They showed him a lot of evidence that they had. They still haven't showed him the bullet because I think it's being tested while they're speaking.
Sure.
We decided to pick through the very beginning of this again.
And
We're at
Yes,
We're
yeah.
talking to everybody that was out there that day and trying to, and
All guns, I think, have a firing pin, don't they?
cross the T's, dotting I's. It's nothing more than that.
And I get that part of it.
So there's no fall guy, that's not.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying to question anybody's integrity. I just, like,
I'm not trying to question your integrity, so how dare you question mine?
I guess like I said, at the point that you think I might have actually done this, then if you want to get a warrant.
And they never said that. All they asked him was, where'd you park? He's the one that had the word salad. The interview was an hour and a half long, and it was all him just going off on a tangent. You know, they were asking direct questions. Where do you work? What's your name? What's your email? Did you have a phone? He's the one that's giving them all this neat nonsense information. All they want to do is check his phone.
Search my house, my car, my orifices or whatever, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind.
My orifices. Let's pause there. Why do I feel like I'm Can you guys hear me? I'm having like some issues with my camera. Let's just shut that off. Yeah, they definitely do in mud, all of them. Well, the slide, and then it won't rack. I've actually put some in mud to see. Oh, that seems like a cool experiment. So why doesn't the DNA match him? Maximum Evil, there is no DNA. There's like a small hint of male DNA that they can't even test. So it's not like the DNA doesn't match him. There is no DNA. Less than 10% of every murder scene contains the DNA of the culprit. That's a fact. So it shouldn't be shocking to anybody that his DNA wasn't there. It's not like they found some a strong presence of male DNA and it doesn't match Richard Allen. They didn't find any male DNA, which is typical for these types of murders. Brandon, now he's kicked back in his chair like his shit don't stink. Yeah, here comes the real Richard Allen, right? It's not the guy who came slumped in over walking in. That's the Richard Allen that's tricking a large number of these of the Richard Allen fan club. To me, it's just a personality defect or something. It's just a defect in their the way they view the world. Right? Richard Allen's been taking advantage of those types of people his entire life. They're susceptible to the manipulation that comes from a psychopath, is what I think. You know, they see this game, this character that they're playing, this pitiful person, and they do this Jedi mind trick. Some people are susceptible to that, and they're like, "Oh, poor Ricky." You know, they're buying into what he's selling. They're buying what he's selling.
You're looking at my phone or whatever, but like, yeah, I don't think. I guess my point is I don't think it.
We're just asking.
Sure,
Right now, I'm just asking.
I understand that.
So it is what it is, and we are
Jody.
that. So
Yeah, I'm not going to have police out going through my house and stuff. That's just not.
that's fine. That's fine.
News leaks and somebody here. I just don't need that kind
Well,
of.
we're trying to keep this very discreet because we do understand what you're talking about. I came out of my Buick, which is not normal life.
I understand.
Car. So, you know, we're not interested in making your life difficult or anything like that. We're trying to get these things figured out.
Sure.
And get it taken care of. So,
Sure.
with that, so you said you would let us look at the phone?
Sure.
Okay, great. And you help us get to the other phone, too?
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, all right. So let me go back to that form, and we'll get this phone back to our team, which can do that. So I covered this with you.
Yep, I agree
What
with that,
kind of phone
Moose.
is it? Can you tell?
It's a Google something or other. It's a Google.
So he's kind of calmed down. He's like, okay, you might have went in a little bit too deep there. So I think he's backtracking a little bit now. And Tony Legette's giving his own little
Pixel, okay.
bluffing
It's a black phone.
indicators.
Okay. And what is the passcode?
20.
4-5, 4-5, okay. All right, great. So I read this to you, so if you have any questions, do you have any questions about your rights about being able to do this? Or we just need your signature to verify that you understood everything?
Mullen's thinking, man, I can't wait to get my hands on this phone. I can't wait.
You know what? Let me talk to my wife before I do anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to do this because I'm cool with it, but at the same time, I don't want her to get pissed off because I don't know.
It's okay.
We watch TV shows and stuff, and I just, like, I don't want to be associated with this thing, obviously, more than anybody else does. And am I an angel of a person? No. I mean, I'm like anybody else, and I guess I don't want you, maybe I don't want you looking at every website I visited, and so I think I'll talk to my wife, and if she's cool with it, then we'll do it.
I'm going to get something, I'm going to show you something just really quick, I'll be right back.
Used to crush them to recycle.
Sure, you want to know it?
No, I did.
One of these is colder than the other. So, but no, we're trying to give you a hard time.
I understand.
Again, we're just trying to get these things taken care
And I
of
get
for
that.
a long time. So,
I get that. But I guess that's not that I ever question anybody's integrity, but
that's fine.
it's just, I know that it's at a point where, I mean, you want closure. You want closure for a family, and I'm not, again, I don't know you from Adam.
No, it's fine.
But you also can't say it's never happened where pieces have been, we find a piece that's close to fitting and make it fit, and I just don't.
I just want you to see why we came to you. This is from the beginning.
Okay.
It's basically tip 74.
Okay.
That's
I understand. I can check.
I don't want you to think that we're just randomly coming after you.
And you've been,
So Tony's telling him, like, hey, dude, why are you freaking out? Like, what, you know, like you're basically, you continue to snitch on yourself. What's up, wife Lilith? He wanted her to be the one to say no to law enforcement, so he looked less innocent, shifting responsibility. Yeah, that's why he gets furious at her. He gets really angry.
Well, I don't think you're coming after me. It's not that.
you've been completely honest with this. She said, well, what the information you can see right there, Mr. Allen was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30.
That's true. I mean, I don't think that.
Time there was.
I know I wasn't out there that late. I don't know what I told him that day, but I know I wasn't out there till 3:30 or so. Yeah, it's 3:30.
That would be right around 1:30 until 3:30.
No, I'm saying when I left. 1:30 would have been more of the time I would have left.
Okay.
Not gotten there. Because the only reason I remember is because I know I left around 11 o'clock or so because they were getting ready to go do lunch.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't going to do the lunch thing with everybody, so
And
I
you
just
told
went
us,
home and
So I think what he's thinking is that if he says 1:30, they must have me on camera right around 1:30. So all he really needed to say was that he parked at the Mears lot. I parked at the Mears lot and I left at 1:30. That would have been a better story because it would explain why he's coming from the direction of the cemetery and why his car is driving in front of the Hoosier Harvest store at right around 1:30.
I was going to watch the stock market. Thought it was a nice day, and I'd go take a walk on the trail before I did.
Yeah. So things we're asking you is nothing any different than we ask anybody else around there.
yeah, and look at all the stuff you told us, and there's nothing inconsistent here. So,
You know, I always thought this kind of reminded me of the Sandy Hook stuff. But I mean, it was just probably something that was on the news at that time. Might have been interested in it. Who knows? Remember Keegan Klein talking about a friend in Texas? He's like, I got a call from a friend in Texas, says you're all over the news, buddy. After the Anthony Shots information dropped.
Oh, I guess I was actually watching my stock, so it must have been working. You asked about that. High Bridge Trail. It wasn't, I mean, it was that farmer's pull-off is where I was seeing these
Different people call.
Sure, gotcha. And you have the information off my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes, that's why I really like to have that cell phone in particular.
But again, that's why we're here.
sure, and I get that.
We're trying to put, if there's any pieces you missed or anything that you could recollect.
Sure, and that's honestly, that's what I thought this was. And I mean, there's nothing else I can really think of. But as far as searching my house and my phones and like,
Well, let me say, I haven't even got to that yet. I just want to let you know, those things have been very helpful for us, okay? I'm not necessarily asking right now.
how they've been helpful.
Eliminating people.
What we do is we can say for sure, okay,
Sure.
and we didn't find anything, okay? That's how we estimate the successfulness.
And I guess I see that.
Yeah.
I guess when you say progress, it's like we're still where we were. And I'm not saying you haven't made progress.
No,
You obviously
Stephanie.
have. I'm just saying, like, we're here because we haven't found the guy that did this. And I'm not going to turn into that guy. I'm not going to, I don't want to become the target of something because, like I said, we watch a Dateline every week. We watch everything, and it's one of those. I mean, there's nothing that's going to tie me to it, and I'm not worried about that. To have people come and start searching my house and stuff. I mean, my wife doesn't even know I'm here talking to people. So,
See, there it is. He's trying to keep them separated. That's the reason why he didn't let Dan Doolin back to his home. He's like, I'll meet you at Save-A-Lot. He doesn't want to get these stories crossed over. It's like the Ghostbusters, when they cross the streams, you risk destroying the universe or the planet or whatever, or reality itself. That's what he doesn't want to happen. He doesn't want to cross the streams.
I mean, I can look for the phone. I'll talk to her, and I mean, obviously, anytime that you feel that you need that information quicker, I know you can get it. It's not like you can't get it if you want it. I'm not an idiot.
What information would be?
Searching my house, searching my
Oh,
phone.
okay.
He's like, I'm not an idiot. Let me bring that back just a little bit. Let's see, 104, right there.
I'll talk to her, and I mean, obviously, anytime that you feel that you need that information quicker.
J. Ray says, I think you're reading into that. No, I said that. I said it was probably just something that was on the news and he Googled it. I said exactly what you said.
Quicker, I know you can get it. It's not like you can't get it if you want it. I'm not an idiot.
What information would be?
Searching my house, searching my
Oh, okay.
phone, searching my...
Well, and again, the reason I said search your house and your car would be to be able to say to someone, look, we did actually take care of this information. We know for sure, okay, what was there, what we found, and that gives us the answer we need for a particular situation that we're dealing with.
Sure.
Okay, it doesn't mean that.
Mark says, I watch Dateline, therefore I'm innocent. I think what he meant was he watches Dateline and he watches people getting set up or made into, fall guy or something like that. I think that's what he was trying to convey.
That we're trying to put anybody in a box,
Sure.
anything like that.
Welcome in, Stephanie. But the kidnapping searches are very telling because that's what he did. Yeah, he did kidnapping. And Hard Candy is about a online predator who targets a young teenage girl. And then once he acquires his target, the target becomes the predator and he becomes the target and is then tortured for being a sick online predator like Keegan Klein. I think there's a good chance that Richard Allen might be one as well. But he keeps telling law enforcement, I'm not a fucking idiot. I know how phones work. I know how digital forensics works. I know how towers work. I know how cell phones work. So I'm not an idiot. Like, I covered my tracks. And if you pay attention, people are telling you everything you need to hear if you're listening. I believe that they are.
You brought up several times wanting to be able to resolve the case. No, what we want to do is be able to find the person who...
Absolutely.
Not
That's
try
what I mean.
Not try to put anybody in that box that
Christine Robbins Sleuth, how many days after the murders did they release the video? I don't think they released that video until, what was it, the 22nd? Looks like, yeah, February 22nd. So they released the video during that presser.
wasn't responsible for what happened.
I understand that.
So,
I'm not saying you just want to label somebody, but, you know,
Could be,
I had
Alexa.
nothing to do with it. I haven't been a part of this investigation. I mean, I have with what I did, and now I'm, obviously, you question me further, and that's fine, but
Sure.
it's a horrible thing, and, I mean, I don't want to be any more involved in it than what I have to be.
So let me give you guys another example. So they served a search warrant on Bicycle Bridge Road really early on, I think like a week after the crimes happened, maybe a week or two. And it was on the Maxwell property. Well, Maxwell didn't panic or wasn't ashamed. He said, yeah, come on in, serve the search warrant. And then after that, he joined all the Facebook groups about the Delphi murders. He's on all of the Facebook groups. See the difference? See the contrast?
If I thought I had something that was useful, by all means, I'd give you anything I had. I just don't know what's going to be useful to you.
Sure, I understand.
Yeah, there you go, Poos.
So that's one of the reasons why we asked for the phone, is to be able to nail down that aspect, especially the phone that would have been involved in that situation, which would be the phone you gave the information on to the officer.
Sure.
And also, something that would be very important to look at would be your car, because when somebody does something that's involved in something like this,
Sure.
there might be traces of biological information and data or substances that were left behind inside the vehicle. So,
Sure, I
that
mean-
makes sense. So, would it be helpful for us to be able to look at your car to be able to determine if there be anything like that inside of it, forensically, okay? Forensically means that we have a close examination of the car.
I know that.
And then again, like everything else, though,
I know that. He doesn't like it when people challenge his intelligence. I know that. Yeah, he knows that. That's probably why he made sure you weren't going to find anything.
that we're telling you, then we can say, we looked at Rick, we looked at his car, there's nothing in his car. That's the point. That's the whole point of everything.
Yeah, this is out left field, guys. I'm going to talk to my wife before I do anything.
Okay, what is the reason that they can't search your car? I get your phone, right? You're into weird shit, the most insidious shit you can find. I'm just in an insidious mood. Let's see what we got on Netflix. Maybe you're just like, like some people are kinky. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean you're a killer. I get that when it comes to the phone. But why the car? Why not just say, here, take it? Yeah, eliminate me. I'll give you the car.
It affects her as much as it affects me. And I know you guys don't talk to people. I don't hear a bunch of rumors out there, but I don't want anybody knowing that I talk to you.
He doesn't want his wife to know that he's in an interview right now. That's all he cares about. He doesn't want Kathy to know that he's being interviewed for these murders that he committed. So if he can somehow get a victory by legal means, he'll accept it.
You guys,
Oh, I understand.
it's just
And
not something
we don't do that.
Sure.
That's not something we want to do at all. So,
And also, he kept texting somebody on the phone. So I'm assuming that's his wife. So if she doesn't know that he was in the interview, he must have been lying to her.
We don't just go out and randomly talk to people and stuff like this.
Sure, I understand.
Okay. So with the phone, you say you want to take some time, more time to think about it.
Yeah, Mullins is an impressive interviewer. He's got all the right body language. And I don't know if they're doing a good cop, bad cop, because you got Tony sitting back. He's wide open. He's staring down Richard Allen. He's coming and going. His phone's going off. Somebody's probably watching the video, calling him out of the room and telling him, hey, what about this? Make sure you guys are asking him about this. Because every time he returns, he's like, what car were you driving? He's real blunt. So might just be your classic good cop, bad cop.
A couple things that I wanted to ask you about. Would you mind, Sheriff, if we stepped out for a little bit and came back? Are we okay with you? I think we need just a few minutes right back.
That's a good point, Darkside. If he was innocent, though, he would have walked out of there an hour ago as soon as they knew he was really looking at you for the crime. Yeah, he's been in there way too long. Should have been a 15-minute interview. Yeah, I was there. That's all I saw. Can we see your phone? Yep. Here's my phone. Can we check out your car? Yes, please have it to me back as soon as you can. I'm out of here. Or no, you can't search my phone. You can't search my car. If I remember anything, I'll give you a call. Yep, but the fact that he's guilty, and I believe he is a psychopath, he thinks in the back of his mind he's going to outsmart them. But remember, he's as desperate for information as much more so than the fact that he just wants to be out of that room. He wants to know what they know. He's very interested in the notes. He's interested whenever they pull out those trial exhibits. They have a bunch of, that's basically what that folder was the trial exhibits. He's very interested in all of that. So that's why he's taking this risk. He's trying to hide in plain sight. He's trying to find opportunities for countermeasures. And he's also trying to glean information while he redirects. But he just got stonewalled. Yeah, he's done playing the part. He's like, oh, shit, they know. He already knows. He's like, they know. They know it's me. There's no reason for me to act like this little bitch anymore. There's no reason for me to put my hands in my lap and lean forward. There's no reason for me to have my superficial charm. It's obvious that you guys know that I did this. No reason to play the part anymore. My question is, who's he talking to? Is he just looking at all his searches right now? Maybe deleting them? He's scrolling. Look at his thumb. He's going to town. We know he isn't talking to Kathy about his interview. Because she doesn't even know that he's there. Yep. He's telegraphing, projecting. I don't think so, J. Ray. Because he's the one that went on, did all the word salads. He's the one that got all offended. They just asked him simple questions. What do you remember when you went out there? Word salad. What car were you driving that day? Word salad. What phone were you using that day? Word salad. It's all him. He should have been out of there a long time ago. But he's trying to play it out. He's trying to win. But he didn't win. All of that rehearsing and all of that practicing for this very moment, it wasn't enough. Yeah, he knows they're watching him. That's why he's looking at his phone, I think. Yeah, he did something. I wonder if he did like a factory reset. He's deleting or he's nervous. He knows they're watching him. So, a phone is a good way to be distracted or act like you're doing something else, like when you don't want to be bothered. If you're not trying to make eye contact with somebody, you just, I'm looking at my phone. Nervous energy. Yeah, exactly, Dark Side. You would care less that they thought you're innocent or not. Like, I didn't do it. Like, I don't give a shit what you say. Like, hey, I came in here. You took my interview. You have my phone. You have my car. But that's it, guys. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. I'm not going to let you search my house. You can get a search warrant if you want to. I mean, if you want to come over right now, I'll let you walk through the house if you want to. But you're not tearing my shit up. Booze. Where'd you park? Tenement desertion. This part's really weird.
Hey, how you doing? So, what I want to do is kind of show you some of the stuff that we do.
His mouth. Like, what's he doing? Is he yawning?
Hey, how you doing? So, what I want to do is kind of show you some of the stuff that we do have here.
So they probably sat down with Holman and a couple of other guys and says, so what do you think? Yeah, let's see if we can shake him up with some of this stuff. And Mullen does a really great job. He's great at interviewing, because if Tony wasn't there, I think if somebody else was there, or if he would have just kind of just shut the fuck up, I think Mullins was like trying to tap into his psyche. Like, hey man, we know you were the guy on the bridge. We know this is you. Like, we know you followed the girls. Like, he's trying to take him back there. Like, remember, we know that it was you. Like, look, here we have these photos. See this guy walking? This is how you were dressed. You told us you were dressed in the Carhartt. You passed those girls. This is obviously you stalking Abby and Libby. Like, he's trying to get him to get back into that mind frame so that he'll break down. He does a great job of it, but I think Tony kind of fucks it up. Just my opinion.
Well, it's important you get your cooperation. One of the things that you told us was that you...
Okay, check this out. You see the body language? You see how we kind of joined him on his side of the table? Excellent. We're in this together. Let's look at this eye to eye. Look, let's look eye to eye on this.
You have driven out there in your car, and you think you've driven out there in your car. We have a picture of your car that shows it was going out to the trails that day, okay? And now, one of the important things for us is to help understand exactly where you were at that day, what was going on. You've already told us that you were out there. That's really, really important for
Sure.
you, okay? Yes. So with that, what I wanted to do is try to help you.
You see that where he feels like they're insulting his intelligence? Obviously.
Work through this whole thing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We've been able to talk to your wife,
Sure.
talk to your daughter already. Well, this is all happening. We had time to do all that.
Sure.
And we've heard that you had some issues, even at one point put a gun in your mouth that you were going to do.
See, he's getting into his psyche. It's really clever. Like, just let go, Rick. Like, just let it out, man.
Something to yourself, maybe 3 years or so.
Yes.
And, look, there's a lot here that we need to get clarified, okay? as you
He's right now, he's thinking that fucking bitch. She couldn't shut her damn mouth. Why is she telling the cops I did that? He's feeling betrayed right now.
well know, we have pictures of an individual that was on the bridge. And to some great degree, you describe that individual as wearing, yourself as wearing blue jeans, a jacket that's of the same color as that. He described the hat. It's hard to see the shoes, but they're kind of brown. Okay? And this is a picture.
Mullins telling him, like, look, man, look how clear it is to me. Look how this looks to me. This is your chance. Like, we understand that you have mental health issues and that something happened that day. But we know that this is you. Trying to bring him back there. You know, I thought it was a good tactic.
Was taken with the phone of one of the girls.
Okay, I understand that.
And the question needs to be, is that you?
If it was taken with the girl's phone, that is absolutely, I mean,
That's not a no.
it's not me, but I never have met these girls before, so even if I thought it looked like me, if it was taken with the girl's phone, there's no way it could be. I've never met them. I've never seen them.
All right, so that's
And
where
as far, well, and let's just stop there. As far as my psychological well-being,
okay.
it has been, I've been dealing with that for years. It's not something new. It's not something because I went out and killed girls. Now I've got psychological problems. Have I had?
Right? Remember they talked about that in the 2019 presser? Or no. Yeah, it was the 2019 presser. You know? And in the February 22nd presser, the FBI states that. You know, the way you're going to be different. You know, the killer would most likely be different after the crimes. So he remembers that clearly.
Did I stick a gun? I know how a gun works, and I wasn't going to shoot myself that night. It was probably a cry for help that night. You've obviously talked to my wife, so it is
He feels right now like he was stabbed in the back.
what it is. But I know you haven't talked to anybody that knows me, has been around me, my family, not my family, that thinks that I may have been involved in this. Wouldn't believe it.
This image, this person right here, he's wearing like a Carhartt jacket, just like you just told us.
Okay.
He's wearing the same clothing that you just told us. We just need to know what happened. Why?
Sure. I mean, I said I was wearing blue jeans. Now, blue jeans is a pretty common thing that people wear.
See, this story worked with his wife. Like, that's what you were wearing that day, Rick. And this is the story that he told her. She bought it because, of course, she has probable deniability. Accepting her husband as a Delphi murderer is admitting that she married a killer, a child killer.
I said I was probably wearing a black or blue coat. It could have been a Carhartt, a zip-up with a hoodie in it. I've had black ones. I've had a blue one, or a blue one and a black one. Like, I guess, you know, you're taking what I told you I was wearing and saying that that's me in it.
So the other kind of...
What part?
And you're serious. You literally want me to, like, that is you want me to say that that's my car?
We looked at... it matches everything. That is your car.
Okay, well, I'm saying that picture, it's like, okay,
Yeah, no, there's zero...
So everything that he wanted to know after the New Direction presser is being put right in front of his face. Look at him panic. He's like, oh, shit. Here it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's you.
okay, that's
We're
fine.
just showing you what we have and why we need to eliminate it.
He says, that's you. We know that's your car. Richard Allen says, that's fine.
Well, sure,
That's the point.
sure. All right, well, we're all done here.
Well, here's what
Unless you want to arrest me.
He's like, oh, shit. He's like, I'm in it. He's like, I'm in to my neck in this now. He's pissed. He's like, oh, shit. It's worse than I could have ever imagined. And when they hit him with the bullet, that's it. It's over.
Here's what I want to say to you at this point. You know, look, we have a lot of information here that we need clarification.
Sure.
And that's exactly on the bridge. And to some great degree, you described that individual as wearing, yourself as wearing blue jeans, a jacket that's of the same color as that.
Is it
They
further?
described the hat. It's hard to see the shoes, but they're kind of brown. okay? And this is a picture that was taken with the phone of one of the girls.
Okay, I understand that.
And the question needs to be, is that you?
If it was taken with the girl's phone, that is absolutely, I mean, it's not me, but I never have met these girls before, so even if I thought it looked like me, if it was taken with the girl's phone, there's no way it could be. I've never met them. I've never seen them.
All right, so that's
And
where
as far, well, and let's just stop there. As far as my psychological well-being,
okay.
it has been, I've been dealing with that for years. It's not something new. It's not something because I went out and killed girls. Now I've got psychological problems. Have I had issues? Did I stick a gun? I know how a gun works, and I wasn't going to shoot myself that night. It was probably a cry for help that night. You've obviously talked to my wife, so it is what it is. But I know that you haven't talked to anybody that knows me, has been around me, my family, not my family, that thinks that I may have been involved in this. What do you believe?
This image, this person right here, he's wearing like a Carhartt jacket, just like you just told us.
Okay.
He's wearing the same clothing that you just told us. We just need to know what happened. Why?
Sure. I said I was wearing blue jeans. Now, I think blue jeans is a pretty common thing that people wear, and I said I was probably wearing a black or a blue coat. It could have been a Carhartt, a zip-up with a hoodie in it. I've had black ones. I've had a blue one, or a blue one and a black one.
Blue one, black one,
I guess,
black one, blue one.
You know, you're taking what I told you I was wearing and saying that that's me, and
So the other kind of,
you're serious. You literally want me to, like, that is you want me to say that that's my car?
We looked at
it matches everything. That is your car.
Okay, well, I'm saying that picture, it's like, okay,
Yeah, no, that there's zero doubt that that's you.
I don't even, okay, that's
We're
fine.
just showing you what we have and why we need to eliminate.
He said, we have zero doubt that that's you in that car. He says, okay, that's fine.
That's
Well, sure,
the point.
sure. All right.
He says then, well, if you're sure that that's me in that car, then I'm fucked. I got to get out of here. I thought I was going to come in here and schmooze you and get over on you, but nope, you guys got some real shit on me.
Well, we're all done here.
Well, here's what
Unless you want to arrest me. That's fine.
Here's what I want to say to you at this point. Look, we have a lot of information here.
Right? Unless you want to arrest me. So he's already given up.
We need clarification.
Sure.
And that's exactly why we're talking to you at this time.
Well, and that's
And so
fine.
what we want to do is to be able to
Okay.
take a look at your cell phone, take a look at all the data, help us out. That would be great. Or, conversely, in this situation, we've already talked to your employer, and we already know that and we haven't told them what we know about this. We haven't said anything about that. But they say you're a nice guy. And I believe you're a nice guy.
Oh, okay.
Look, I have no reason. We take a picture for you. We went to your house.
No, you got a job to do.
We
And I get
went
that.
to your house.
You sit down here
We went to your house.
we're having a conversation and
We went to your house this morning, and what we did was knock on the door. You let us inside. We had a nice conversation, and that's great. That's really positive.
of course it is.
You came here to the center and drove down. You rode in the car with us.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to sit down and talk, and not a fellow who is, I think, a mean fellow. You're not the kind of guy that would go out and do something malicious to somebody. So a lot of what we're trying to get figured out here today, right now, is exactly what's going on here. Why is this information showing us one thing, but then you're telling us another?
What is it showing you? What
This information
I'm going to say that is, just say that is my car. I told you I could have been driving that car.
Yeah, that's right.
See, his proactive and his countermeasure, he left that open. So now he's playing his card. Remember, he's like, I could have been driving that car or the other car. I don't know, because I don't know what you have. You guys never mentioned what type of car. Remember, you guys were asking what kind of car at the 2019 presser. So you never told us. So this is the strategic reason why they never told the public what type of vehicle it was. It's so they can have this very moment in the ring with Richard Allen.
I don't know what it is but this seems to have taken a turn, you know? You're sitting here and you're talking to me.
He's like, things have taken a turn. He's like, I didn't realize that you had me on camera.
You're asking me things, and I get that.
Most people,
But now it's turning into...
most people have wanted to be eliminated from
Well,
this.
sure.
That's what,
I don't want to be included to begin with. So until the point that you have something that tells you that I did this and you want to subpoena or arrest me or something, I've got nothing to worry about. So I'm not real concerned here, but your attitudes towards me have definitely changed, and I don't like the fact that, you know, it feels more like I'm being interrogated, and but so then you're going to tell me that you've already talked to my wife and my daughter and stuff. Like, how straightforward is that? You know? Well, what would you? Okay, let's.
He's mad about the car. He's mad about his wife talking about him putting the gun in his mouth. He's pissed.
Turn everything around. Tell me what you would do differently if you were in our situation. You had this information. How would you react? What would you do? You do the same thing that we were doing right now.
What information is it that you have?
We have.
You have that I was out there, and I told you from the very beginning that I was out there.
Yes, you did.
I didn't hide it.
did you see this guy?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I told you. I see the only person that I clearly remember seeing that, and this isn't from the day. I mean, this is the next day. The only people or person that came into my mind were those three girls that I seen.
Richard, we're not upset with you, not mad.
And he thinks he's helping his cause by talking about these three girls. But remember, he doesn't realize that those three girls are the main witnesses. So the main witnesses for their case. And they're trying not to get excited about it. But the more he keeps talking about these three witnesses, the worse off he is. Because that's pretty much the entire affidavit is about these witnesses and what they saw. And how they described him and how he's admitting to seeing them. Like, he doesn't realize that that's a huge part of their case against him.
Anything like that. We're just trying to get to the bottom of it, okay? No, I'm not, I'm not here to give you a hard time. I'm just here to try to get this situation straightened out. And what we want to do is simply get to the truth. What would help us get to the truth is being able to look inside of some of the things you're talking about, okay?
And I get that.
Okay?
And on the other side of things, sure. And on the other side of things, if I thought I had something that was going to help you, that would, what do I have that's going to help you?
Okay. Well, I have some questions we can go through here, if you don't mind. And
I think we're done.
We have.
They called his bluff. I love that. This is my favorite part of this interview.
Did you see this guy?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I told you. I see the only person that I clearly remember seeing that, and this isn't from the day. I mean, this is the next day. The only people or person that came into my mind were those three girls that I seen.
Richard, we're not upset with you, not mad at you, anything like that. We're just
Sure.
trying to get to the bottom of this, okay? No, I'm not.
Let her go.
I'm not here to give you a hard time. I'm just here to try to get this situation straightened out. And what we want to do is simply get to the truth. What would help us get to the truth
Absolutely, Samantha.
is being able to look inside of.
Because if the girls are leaving and they're running into the bridge guy, that's what they witnessed was the bridge guy coming, right? That's just proof that he's lying because there's no reason for the girls to lie.
Some of the things you're talking about, okay?
And I get that.
Okay.
And on the other side of things, sure. And on the other side of things, if I thought I had something that was going to help you, that would.
He says, if I thought, on the other hand, like, hey, if I thought I had anything, then I'll let you know. If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. Mullins calls his bluff and watch what he says. He says, I can't handle any more of this shit. Please don't show me any more evidence.
What do I have that's going to help you?
Okay. Well, I have some questions we can go through here, if you don't mind.
I think we're done.
We have some other questions here that we could go through.
He's like, they know, it's me. It's up to you guys to prove it now, because I'm not going to confess.
Here, and what I could do,
Want to get questions?
what does that hurt? Some of the questions that we can ask you are simply this, and I don't want you to feel like these questions all sound strange, and it'd be very, maybe even accusing in nature, but I want you to understand I'm not trying to offend you. But
I get that.
I get help us out by getting to a little bit farther along in this matter.
So, I don't know. Like I said,
Absolutely.
You talked to my daughter and my wife.
What do you want?
I can't tell you what happened. I can tell you that if that picture was, I mean, you can sit and take anybody and say, well, if they were wearing this and wearing that, that could be them. If that picture was taken from one of the girls' phones,
Here's the
it's not
problem
me
with that.
because I've never met them.
No, but listen, here's the problem with that. You know why you can put a lot of people and say they're wearing blue jeans and a blue coat, but you know what the difference is?
No.
You said you were there.
Well, sure I
We
did.
got people that saw you.
Okay.
Ricky said you were out on the bridge yourself.
There aren't that many people.
See, he may not have even known that, because right after this, I think during the interview, he says, unless I missed some people, like he was trying to keep track of who was out there and who saw him. So, see, the reason he's doing this interview is so he can get to this point. He wants to know what they have. He's not leaving this interview empty-handed. He wants to know what they have. Now that he knows what he's dealing with.
Saw me. I mean, I'm sure I didn't miss that many people.
See, I'm sure I didn't miss that many people. Remember, this is a guy who's giving us a perfect recollection of what he saw that day, right? He's not going to forget anything from that day. Now, normal people who just go about their day-to-day business and they're not plotting a murder, they're not going to remember anything. You know, let's say it's the following day and you're called into a police station like, hey, what did you see on the trails that day? Well, I saw a guy, I think he had curly hair. I can't really remember. He's wearing maybe a blue jean jacket, a dark blue jacket, and some blue jeans. Like it's hard for them to remember. But for Richard Allen, no. On the contrary, that's because this day is very important to him. He's taking details. And that's why he says right there, I don't think I could have missed that many people. Meaning he didn't miss them all, right? Because he caught Sarah Carbaugh.
They walked behind me, I guess.
You said that you were out on the bridge, this bridge, yourself that day around the time when this happened.
No, I didn't.
You said you walked out onto the bridge. When we talked to you earlier, you said that you
Nakia,
walked
I don't
out
think
to
so.
about the first platform or within that area down the bridge. That's what you told us. So we know that you were on the bridge.
Of course I was.
Okay?
And I told you that.
And with that, you know, we can say that, is this person you? That's the question. Is that person you?
Exactly,
That's the
Tim.
question we have to answer.
Sure.
Okay? So if that person is you, we know this person followed the girls all the way to the other side of the bridge and then told them to go down the hill.
Brilliant.
Followed.
He almost has him.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like you're saying dope.
Okay, so the bridge here, okay,
Mullins is so close. He's getting in his head.
this is the girls walking towards the other side of the bridge from where the trailhead is at.
The other side.
The other side of the bridge. And this person followed them all the way to the other side of the bridge where the...
Yeah. So let's just...
And told them to go down the hill.
Okay, so let me stop here. I don't appreciate you trying to talk me into this.
No.
This is what I...
See, it's working. Mullins he's got him. And Richard's like, I don't appreciate this shit. I don't appreciate you getting in my head like this. Here, I'm going to take this back. Not too far. Just a little bit. Let's see. 122.09. We'll go right there.
The other side.
The other side of the bridge. And this person followed them all the way to the other side of the bridge where the...
Yeah. So let's just...
And told them to go down the hill.
Okay, so let me stop here. I don't appreciate you trying to talk me into this.
No.
This is what I said. You're trying to change my words around. I told you I was on the bridge. Now you just told me this is the trailhead side of the bridge.
Over here on this
And
side.
you're saying...
Okay, so this is him trying to figure out where this video came from. Like, where was it? When was this video taken?
You're saying I told you I walked on the bridge.
You said you walked on that bridge that day.
And that first trestle is somewhere,
Back there? Okay.
it's somewhere over there.
Help me understand. Okay, you came out this far, we know that.
I did.
You
I
came
didn't go out that
you
far
came
that
out,
day.
you came out that far, is what you told us.
I'm not gonna tell you how, I can't tell by that how far out I was.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, you're saying that's me, and you're saying this is the far side of the bridge. I don't even go out that far anymore.
Thanks, Robin.
I haven't for years.
Okay, for years.
Okay, so he's basically admitting that he's constantly crossed that bridge. He's crossed it many times. So he knows what's over there on the south side, maybe even what's down the hill.
But back then, that was in 2017, okay? And the question is this you?
No.
Okay. So you're telling me that this person was out there on the bridge,
good to see you,
wore
Mike.
the same clothing that you had
Oh,
on that
Jesus.
day, but you didn't see
You
them.
can't tell that's a black Carhartt coat, a blue Carhartt coat, a pullover. I told you I could have been wearing this.
The two kinds of clothing you said you wore that day was either a black Carhartt coat or a blue Carhartt coat. Okay, you said you had blue jeans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had other jackets and
Okay, so put yourself in my chair right
I
now.
guess what I'm saying is I'm not going to tell you I wasn't wearing a black Carhartt that day. I told you I could have been. I don't know if that's a black Carhartt. And if it is, it's not mine, it's his.
And you said you had a hat you normally wear, a skull cap, which covers.
I said I carry one.
Carry
So
one.
if I was wearing one, it would be like a skull cap or a smaller type of hat or something.
Okay?
Thanks, Don.
So this is the situation we're at, okay? Basically this. Either you were out there to do this to the girls, or you were out there to be able to introduce the girls to somebody else.
Okay. Good luck finding anything that points in that direction.
Right? This is the whole Keegan Klein stuff. Look, even during this interview, they believe that. Here, I'm going to take it back just a little bit. All right there.
Situation we're at, okay? Basically this. Either you were out there to do this to the girls, or you were out there to be able to introduce the girls to somebody else.
Okay.
Anthony Shots.
Good luck finding anything that points in that direction.
See, he's like, good luck finding anything that points in that direction. Because I got rid of that phone. I got rid of that phone. You ain't never going to tie that to me. Ever.
And if it is, it's not mine, it's his.
And you said you had a hat you normally wear, a skull cap, which covers.
I said I carry one.
Carry
So
one.
if I was wearing one, it would be like a skull cap or a smaller type of hat or something.
Okay.
Okay, a smaller type of hat. That was given as the older bridge guy sketch, remember? The witnesses described him as wearing a smaller type hat. They didn't know if it was what type of they didn't know what kind of a hat it was. They just knew that it was a smaller, kind of like a painter's hat or a paperboy cap.
So this is the situation we're at, okay? Basically this. Either you were out there to do this to the girls, or you were out there to be able to introduce the girls to somebody else.
Okay.
Here's the answer.
Good luck finding anything that points in that
Good luck finding anything that points in that direction.
direction. I mean, it's not me. You're not going to make me believe it's me. You're not going to find anything that ties me to those murders. So I'm not really that concerned. You know, you went from trying to, I don't know what you want to say, get my trust and then slowly lure me into telling you I killed somebody, and I'm not going to do it. You know, I don't know where this came.
So what he's telling us is that Mullen almost had him. He's saying, you almost had me. I almost admitted to it, but I'm not gonna. I'm on to you. You know, I'm gonna resist it now.
Of course, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, really not. I just want you to put yourself in the situation where we as police officers are looking at all the evidence that we have and what you've told us right now, okay? Okay, not trying to give you a hard time, just want to make sure that we get everything taken care of here. That's why we wanted to look at the things that we wanted to look at.
And that's not going to happen now. I mean, like I said, we're done here. So arrest me or take me home.
I understand. So
Arrest me.
Arrest me or take me home. I'm done.
I mean, why would he say that? I think he's exhausted.
These,
Levi says he has rehearsed this moment for years now.
So,
Has an answer or
that
excuse for
day-
basically every outcome. Yep. I
So,
agree.
on that day, you went out there on the bridge, and that you were wearing the same clothing, that basically the same clothing that this person here is wearing.
That's what you think. I don't know how you can tell that that's a black Carhartt coat, which is what I told you, a black or blue Carhartt coat. Never mind. This is ridiculous. You're trying to tell me that I gave you a description of this guy and I didn't. I mean, we all looked at this thing for months and years, and
Trying to convince him. He's like, we all look the same for months and years. To me, that tells me that he's gone out of his way to change his description and his appearance. Just like the FBI profilers told us the killer would. You know, he's trying to convince him, like, I don't look like that guy because I went out of my way to ensure that.
to me, that doesn't even look like a Carhartt coat.
I did want to welcome in KMG, Levi Fletcher. Who else did I miss? Robin S., welcome in.
We can't say it's not, can you? I mean, neither one of us can.
Okay, you're right.
Can't say it's not. I mean, we can't say that it's not a Carhartt coat. We can't say that that hat isn't similar to the one that you have had at one point.
Talked about that Darkseid earlier today in part 2. Darkseid's asking, I've always thought also when he says it was unseasonably warm that day, it stopped by the house and grabbed a jacket and went back out to the trails. Why would he grab a jacket on such a nice day? Being unseasonably warm doesn't mean that it's not cold, right? So it's not freezing, so therefore I might go out to the trails, but it's still somewhat cold, so I need to put on a jacket. I think that's what he's trying to say.
So,
Okay.
with all those things in view,
You've lost my trust. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. This is stupid. Now you pissed me off.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
And I have,
Are you arresting me?
well, I really,
Darkseid, they were right about a lot. I mean, they were right. They were right about most of it, really.
I'm going to try to get this thing worked out, okay?
They said we're looking for somebody that's familiar with the area, somebody that probably lives in Delphi, somebody who's hiding in plain sight, somebody who might be different after the crimes. Hold on, my wife. Give me a second, guys. We're about to close it down anyway. KMG, slow, usually replay crew. Yeah, welcome in. Good to see you. Poos, sociopaths believe their own lies. Yeah, I don't think he believes his own lies. I think he compartmentalizes. It's like a switch. When he thinks nobody's watching, he probably turns into a real mean son of a bitch. But when everybody is watching, he looks like a pathetic weakling. He does that for strategic reasons, so you don't see him coming. It's probably worked for him since he was a kid. Does not want to go near the trails, and he once loved it out there. Yeah, you think he would have been going there every day, at least after 2018, you know, going back all the time. He has no reason to be afraid of that place. Holding the phone like a knife. Yeah, and he's kind of pointing it at him too.
I'm going to try to get this thing worked out.
Am I free to leave or not?
You've always been free to leave.
Thank you. You're an asshole.
He didn't seem like he was struggling to walk there. Remember when he walked in originally, he was kind of like stumbling around. All right, guys. Sorry about the camera. I think the port in the back is getting a little loose. Might need a new cable for it. Robin says, yes, those Pearl girls didn't see his weakling side. Nope. They saw the monster. Jari, cannot understand people that believe their own lies. If you're lying and you know it and choose to anyway, okay, I get that. But can you really believe them? Well, it could be some kind of a defense mechanism. You know, you did something really bad. You regret it. You want to forget it. You don't want to keep reliving it over and over and over. So you choose to psychologically believe your own lie. It's called denial. I think that's a river in Egypt. But this is going to be our 5-minute warning, everybody. We'll close out the chat and then we'll get out of here. I guess we'll finish up with part 4 tomorrow morning. We'll try our best to get through one more interview and then maybe some of the phone calls. And then I'll keep narrating it as we go through, pointing out everything that I've seen, things that I feel are important, things that should be emphasized. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah, there you go. Or that. You got it, Mustang. All right, guys, that's it. If you need to get a hold of me for whatever reason, you can always email me at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Just remember, everything that happens on this channel is just my opinion. And consider becoming a member. You know, we have a strong group here, the Sleuth Crew. We got a bunch of hardcore members, and quality over quantity is the way I see it. It makes them uncomfortable. Yep, absolutely, Boston. And that's the whole point of humanity, right? The jealousy of the devil. A lot of times, Boston, people don't realize that we are at war. Satan hates us. He will do anything that he can to defile us, to defile what we can be. We are 100% in a war. And you are the target. You are the main enemy of evil. Evil doesn't like you. Evil doesn't like the fact that you can be good and bad. You can make mistakes. That's why we have jealousy and all that kind of shit. Hatred, anger. We're under attack. Stay vigilant. Looks like it, Jay, right? Thank you, Jari. You got it, Timmy. It's always good to see you. Make sure you take care of yourself. Boston Christian, always good to see you. J Ray. All right, guys. Be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.